Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday, number 129 on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and we've got our last pack of Ixalan for a little bit. Next week we'll be doing Iconic Masters. I think the week after that we'll do Iconic Masters. Maybe we'll go back to Ixalan for a week, and then we'll have Unstable. So I'm not entirely certain of the Crack Pack schedule through the rest of the year, but today is Ixalan. So let's crack this open, see what's in it, and see what we would take pack one, pick one if this was a draft. Up first is Ryle, a card that I had to argue with nonstop to people that it's pretty bad, and surprisingly, it turned out to be pretty bad. Single red mana to deal damage to target creature you control. That creature gets trampled and you can draw a card. Don't use this to enable Enrage. There's just not enough Enrage going around, so nowhere near a first pick. We can just take that out of the question right now, and you shouldn't really main deck it. Shining Aerosaur is up next. Shining Aerosaur is 4 and a white for a creature dinosaur. It's a 3/4 flyer. It's a good bird dinosaur. It does some work. It's nowhere near a first pick, but you'll generally pretty happily play it in white decks. Maybe like one copy if you're red-white. Maybe a second if you're slower, sort of green-white or something. Crash the Ramparts is up next. 2 and a green for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. It's an okay combat trick, but there's a lot better combat tricks in this set, specifically at 1 mana, and I'd prefer them a lot more than Crash the Ramparts. But I'm never taking a combat trick first pick. Shipwreck Looter is up next. 1 and a blue for a creature human pirate. It's 2/1. Oh, I got the hiccups. It's a 2/1, and it has raid. When it enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It's fine. Unfortunately, you don't typically get to raid with this if you're playing it on curve, which does hurt it a little bit. It's a pretty late pick, and it does sometimes not make the cut. Nowhere near a first pick. Up next is Encampment Keeper, another card that I had to argue with people that it's actually pretty darn bad, and it is pretty damn bad. Single white mana for a creature hound. It's a 1/1 with first strike, ooh, and you can pay 7 and a white, tap it, and sack it to give creatures you control +2/+2 till end of turn. This just doesn't do enough. It doesn't attack. It doesn't block. It blocks X1s. Big deal. You're going to hold off their attacks for 1 or 2 turns. And then getting to 8 mana and sacking this just ain't going to happen. Encampment Keeper is a card that I refuse to play, let alone pick. Run Aground is pretty darn good, and I would consider first picking it in a weaker pack. And that's not to say anything bad about Run Aground. It's a very good card. 3 and a blue for an instant. Put target artifact or creature on top of its owner's library. Instant speed, bounce to top of library is great. Super happy with Griptide. This is a functional reprint of it's actually strictly better than Griptide because it does target artifact as well. Yeah, it's totally fine. It's really good, and I'd feel fine first picking it. I'd prefer hard removal. I'd prefer a bomb creature, but after that, Run Aground it is. Unknown Shores is up next. It's very rare that I would ever feel okay playing Unknown Shores. Tap it for a colorless mana, pay 1, tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Hurting your mana base, hurting your curve that much to splash is not the way you want to go. There's so many other things you want to use to splash before you use this. If you're real desperate, sure, but I don't recommend it. Swashbuckling is up next. The red-headed stepchild of the Aura cycle. 1 with the wind obviously is significantly better. Mark is quite a bit better, but Swashbuckling is still okay. 1 in a red, enchantment aura, enchant creature, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has haste. This can snowball for sure, just like Goblin Warpaint could snowball, but boy is it vulnerable to Runagrounds or Depths of Desires or Perilous Voyages or any of the Perilous Voyage, Perilous Journey, whichever it is, any of the bounce, etc. So I'm not a huge fan of playing Swashbuckling, but if you're somebody who really likes to play decks that are basically just barf your hand, attack, and ask, is the game over yet? Then Swashbuckling is a card that you can play, and it may be correct for you to play. I don't tend to play those decks quite as much, so I'm not usually a big fan of Swashbuckling, but I will play it, but I will not first pick it. Headwater Sentries is up next. 3 and a blue for a creature Merfolk Warrior for a 2/5. This is a deck that doesn't have a home. It doesn't want to live in Pirates. It doesn't want to live in Merfolk. It's just not good enough. 4 mana for a 2/5. It doesn't attack like a 4-drop does. It blocks, I guess, like a 4-drop does, but it doesn't kill anything. So it just doesn't really ever work for anything you want. So Headwater Sentries, not in the running. Our last common is in the running. Vanquish the Weak is 2 and a black for a instant. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less. It's or it's very strictly conditional, but it's hard removal for power 3 or less, which is really good. Getting those early drops out while you get your bombs out or your later cards out. I really like Vanquish the Weak. I would certainly feel pretty happy first picking it in most packs. So yeah, you can hang out in frame. Up next is Belligerent Brontodon. Belligerent Brontodon is 5 green white for a creature dinosaur. It's a 4/6. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. I've never, ever seen this work. Yes, you could load your decks with the Looming Altosaurs, and that's about it. There's honestly not that much that has significantly bigger toughness than it does front side. So I'm not super sold that Belligerent Brontodon has a deck. I just don't think it works. I don't think it's worth the 7 mana, and I'm just not gonna ever really play it, let alone first pick it. Up next is Merfolk Branchwalker. Merfolk Branchwalker is 1 and a green for a 2/1 creature Merfolk Scout. When it enters the battlefield, you explore. I love Branchwalker. It's great. 2/1 for 2 that draws me a land. Totally fine. 3/2 for 2 that lets me do a Sword of Scry. Totally, utterly fine. Very happy with Branchwalker. I'd first pick it in a number of decks, but I don't think I'd take it over Vanquish the Weak, so we'll cut it out of frame. Ranging Raptors is up next. 2 and a green for a creature dinosaur. It's a 2/3. It's got Enrage. When it is dealt damage, you can go and find a basic land and put it into the battlefield tapped. I love Ranging Raptors. I really, really, really do. It was one of the cards that I was most excited about kind of at the uncommon level when I saw it. And it can do some serious work. It can get you it can get your game going out of control really fast. It gets your splash colors. It ramps you. It makes your opponent not want to attack. It makes your opponent not want to block. It does a lot of stuff. I'd happily first pick a Ranging Raptors in many packs, but not this one, because Vanquish the Weak is really good. Does our rare get us there? It does not. It's just a Glacial Fortress, a blue-white land that enters tapped unless you have a plains or an island. You know, these are fine if you're already in one or both of the colors, and if you're not, just pass it down the table. They've been reprinted to death. This is like the 5th printing of them, the 6th printing or something, so it's not even value-wise worth it to take it. So not in the running. Really, I think this pack just comes down to Vanquish the Weak. Run Aground I don't think is strong enough compared to it, nor do I think the Branchwalker or the Raptors is strong enough compared to it. So I'm on Vanquish the Weak. Let me know what you'd have taken. Would you have taken the Run Aground, the Branchwalker, the Raptors? Would you have taken the Dual Land for some reason? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at the Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at facebook.com/manaleak, twitch.tv/manaleak, and patreon.com/manaleak if you want to become a backer there. Work your way towards earning one of these playmats and other various rewards. As always, if you like the content, click that thumbs up button, click subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.